Vanessa Bryant, the widow of Kobe Bryant, was pregnant.
Vanessa Bryant married Kobe when she was just 18, and from that moment, the drama around her life exploded. What should have been a young marriage quickly turned into a full-blown family war involving parents, teammates, and huge piles of money. Fingers were pointing everywhere, and somehow Vanessa kept ending up in the middle of it all. Over the years, different people around Kobe spoke up, criticized her, defended her, or blamed her, creating a storm of opinions about the woman who eventually stood beside one of basketball's biggest legends and inherited everything connected to his legacy. One of the most talked about moments came from the strange clash with NBA legend Karl Malone. On November 23, 2003, the Los Angeles Lakers were facing the Milwaukee Bucks. Malone, already 40 years old and chasing one last championship ring with the Lakers, was sitting on the bench wearing cowboy gear because he was injured. According to Kobe's agent, Rob Pelinka, Malone approached Vanessa and asked, do you like me? Then made a remark about hunting for little Mexican girls. Vanessa immediately told Kobe about the interaction. Kobe did not ignore it. He confronted Malone face-to-face right away. Soon the situation leaked and reporters started asking Kobe questions. Kobe later explained on camera that he never planned to make the issue public. He said reporters came to him first after the story started spreading around.
When everything broke out surrounding the radio interview, I had several reporters come up to me and ask me on camera and off camera.
At first, he tried to keep the whole thing private to avoid more drama.
And my response to them was, look, it's a personal matter. It was resolved in a personal way, and that's that.
But once half-true versions began showing up in the media, Kobe felt he had to respond.
And then all of a sudden, I read articles in the paper when people talking about the story and telling half-truths about what took place.
When reporters asked directly if Malone had made a pass at his wife, Kobe answered carefully and kept his tone controlled.
You know what? I know what took place. I know what I feel like took place.
Then he made it clear he wanted to move forward and leave the situation behind.
Other than that, it's just water under the bridge. I'm just trying to move on with it. My family and I, we're just trying to move on from it.
Years later, Malone told a very different story in interviews. He described the moment as playful banter and said he meant no harm. He even said he would apologize if anyone felt offended. But Malone also added something that shocked people. He said he was willing to settle the issue physically if needed. In a 2015 interview, he basically offered to knuckle up, saying old school disagreements sometimes get handled with a fight. The wild part? That challenge just sat there with no real resolution. Kobe cut ties with Malone and never rebuilt the relationship. But the damage went far beyond one awkward conversation. The 2003 to 2004 Lakers locker room was already full of tension because of the massive Shaq and Kobe rivalry that was tearing the team apart. Malone's alleged comments about Vanessa added another crack in an already broken locker room. Trust inside the team kept dropping, and the media circus only made things worse. News outlets even gave the controversy a nickname, Vanessa Gate. Saturday Night Live ran parodies. Critics called Vanessa a drama queen, and some people accused her of stirring chaos inside the team. Others pushed back hard against that narrative. They argued Vanessa had every right to report a teammate making comments like hunting for little Mexican girls directly to her face. The racial angle and the mockery of her Latina background made the situation even more uncomfortable for many observers. Still, a pattern started forming in the public eye. Every time something exploded around Kobe, family disputes, locker room fights, business arguments, Vanessa's name somehow popped up in the center of the story. She didn't start the Shaq feud, and she didn't create the locker room tension, but critics kept acting like her presence explained the chaos surrounding Kobe's world. The Shaq and Kobe partnership was supposed to be unstoppable, the most dominant duo the NBA had ever seen. But behind the championships and highlight reels, serious tension was brewing almost from the beginning. The roots of the conflict go all the way back to 1996, when a teenage Kobe Bryant arrived in Los Angeles to join a team already built around the towering superstar Shaquille O'Neal. From day one, their personalities clashed. Both were alpha competitors, both wanted the spotlight, and neither liked taking a back seat. As the years went on, the friction became impossible to hide. There were arguments, shouting matches, and even physical moments. During a 1998 pickup game in the lockout period, Shaq reportedly slapped Kobe during a heated exchange. The tension kept growing, and every playoff loss turned into another round of blame between the two superstars. By 2003, the feud had exploded into the open. Kobe was openly criticizing Shaq in interviews, calling him out of shape and accusing him of not taking the game seriously enough. Shaq fired back with his own comments, and the locker room started to split into sides. What had once been a championship partnership was turning into one of the most famous rivalries between teammates in sports history. Then things got even more explosive during the 2003 Colorado investigation involving Kobe. During questioning, Kobe reportedly told investigators that Shaq had paid women to keep quiet about affairs. That claim eventually leaked into the media, and it made Shaq furious. The situation pushed their relationship to the edge. The breaking point came after the 2004 NBA Finals, when the Lakers were stunned by the Detroit Pistons. The loss shocked the basketball world, but behind the scenes, it completely shattered the team's chemistry. Soon after the defeat, Shaq demanded a trade from the organization. He believed the Lakers management had chosen Kobe as the future of the franchise. Once Shaq was traded, the rivalry didn't slow down. It went fully public. Shaq even released a freestyle rap in 2008 mocking Kobe with the line, "Tell me how my taste." The jab grabbed headlines everywhere, but Kobe answered in the most powerful way possible, by winning 2 more championships with the Lakers. During the victory parade after the second title, he threw in a subtle taunt, shouting that he now had one more than Shaq. Still, through all the chaos, Kobe understood something important. Many people around the league believed his personal life had played a role in the fractures around him, and that meant Vanessa's name often came up in conversations about the tension. When Kobe was later asked about his relationships with teammates,
Yeah, I can't sit up here and say, I'm not at fault at all for anything that took place.
he admitted on camera that he could have handled certain things differently. He didn't deny the distance that had formed between him and other players.
Man, if I could go back and do some things differently, I would. With the Shaq thing, the Phil thing, and all of that.
All of that drama, the locker room fights, the teammate conflict, the public feuds, existed in the background, while something even more personal had already shaken Kobe's world years earlier. The story actually traces back to a wedding in 2001 that Kobe's own parents refused to attend. The relationship between Kobe and Vanessa began in November 1999. At the time, Kobe was 21 years old and visited the set of the music video for the song Get Up. Vanessa Lane was there working as a background dancer. She was 17 and growing up in Southern California. Vanessa had been born in Huntington Beach to a Mexican mother and an Irish-Italian stepfather. Her biological father had left the family when she was young, and her mother, Sophia, worked several jobs to support them. Life wasn't glamorous for Vanessa growing up. Her family moved between relatives' homes in places like Garden Grove and Huntington Beach. She attended Marina High School and started appearing in small roles at hip-hop concerts and music videos to earn extra money. That environment is where she crossed paths with Kobe, and the connection happened fast. The two began dating almost immediately, and just 6 months later, Kobe proposed. Their wedding took place on April 18, 2001, in a private Catholic ceremony in Dana Point, California. The event was extremely small. Only about a dozen people were there. Vanessa was 18 years old, Kobe was 22, but the most shocking detail was who wasn't there. Kobe's parents, Joe Jellybean Bryant and Pamela Bryant, did not attend their only son's wedding. Neither of them showed up that day. Reports at the time said they believed Kobe was marrying too young and rushing into a serious commitment. Some sources close to the family also claimed they were uncomfortable with cultural differences. Vanessa strongly embraced her Latina heritage, spoke Spanish fluently, and celebrated her Mexican roots. According to people around the family, Kobe's parents had hoped he would marry someone closer to their own background. That wedding decision led to a painful break. For nearly 2 years, Kobe and his parents barely spoke. The silence finally began to ease after the birth of Kobe and Vanessa's first daughter, Natalia, in January 2003. Even then, the relationship never fully returned to what it once was. Behind the scenes, another complicated issue kept adding tension: money. Over his 20-year NBA career, Kobe provided millions of dollars in financial support to family members. That included housing, lifestyle assistance, and direct financial help for his parents and sisters. Kobe publicly said he was proud that his sisters worked to build their own independence. At the same time, he explained that he did not want anyone relying completely on his success. Still, whispers continued inside family circles. Some people claimed that Kobe had directed more support toward Vanessa's side of the family than toward his own parents. Those claims were never proven in court, but the rumors kept circulating, and they added yet another layer to the complicated story surrounding Kobe, Vanessa, and the family tensions that followed them for years. That imbalance Whether it was real or just how people perceived it, hung over everything that happened next. The tension between Kobe, Vanessa, and his parents never really disappeared. Years later, former NBA player Sebastian Telfair spoke openly about the situation in an interview, and he didn't sugarcoat his opinion. Telfair said Kobe's family conflict felt very familiar to him. He explained that his own parents rejected his former wife from the very beginning. Going against their wishes created deep damage in his relationship with his family. When he looked at Kobe's situation, Telfair believed he saw the same pattern playing out again, a young athlete choosing his partner while his parents felt pushed aside. According to Telfair, those kinds of family breaks don't get repaired easily. Money, success, fame, none of that fixes the emotional damage once people feel betrayed. He said when someone chooses a different path than what their parents expected, the fallout can last for years. But Telfair also made another point that grabbed attention. He argued that the structure of the NBA itself can make situations like this worse. In his view, the league encourages players to focus almost entirely on basketball, training, travel, games, endorsements, until the rest of life fades into the background. That kind of tunnel vision, he suggested, can slowly separate athletes from the people who raised them. And then Telfair said something even stronger. He admitted he couldn't imagine a situation where he would stop dealing with his own child over a relationship conflict. That comment hit directly at the heart of the Bryant family drama. From the perspective of Kobe's parents, one belief had settled in after the 2001 wedding. They felt that once Vanessa entered Kobe's life, they lost their son. Whether that change came from Kobe's own choices or from tension with Vanessa became a debate that never truly ended. The disagreement simmered quietly for years, until it finally exploded into a very public legal fight more than a decade later. For years after the wedding, the tension stayed mostly beneath the surface. There were small signs of distance. Joe and Pamela Bryant occasionally attended Lakers games, but rarely appeared close to Kobe's inner circle. Joe even spent time coaching the WNBA's Los Angeles Sparks in 2005. On the surface, the family still interacted, but the relationship remained strained. Meanwhile, Kobe continued providing financial support to his parents. They accepted the help and life moved forward, but the deeper issues between them were never fully discussed. The silence just sat there year after year, building pressure behind the scenes. Then in the spring of 2013, everything blew up in public. Pamela Bryant had quietly arranged to sell more than 100 pieces of Kobe's personal memorabilia through golden auctions in New Jersey. The collection included extremely personal items, high school jerseys from Lower Merion, trophies, medals, all-star gear, and even 2 championship rings from the Lakers' 2000 title season. One of those rings had been given to Joe Bryant. The other had been specially designed for Pamela. Golden Auctions reportedly gave Pamela a $450,000 advance for the items. That money was used to help purchase a home in Las Vegas. At the same time, the memorabilia had reportedly been sitting in storage in Pennsylvania for over 15 years, creating more than $90,000 in storage costs, which Pamela had been paying. When the auction house officially announced the Bryant collection sale on April 30th, 2013, Kobe reacted immediately. Within days, he issued a cease and desist order and filed a lawsuit in California federal court on May 7th. His argument was simple but serious. He claimed the items still belonged to him and had only been stored by his mother. According to Kobe, he never approved them for sale and planned to pass them down to his children, including his daughters Natalia, Bianca, and Capri. But Joe and Pamela Bryant did not back down. On May 13th, 2013, they responded with sworn declarations filed in New Jersey federal court. And the language inside those documents shocked people. Pamela directly challenged the statements made by both Kobe and Vanessa. In her filing, she claimed the affidavit submitted by her son and daughter-in-law contained many false statements. That line was important. She didn't just dispute Kobe, she specifically included Vanessa in the accusation. Pamela also rejected Kobe's description of a phone call he said happened on May 2nd. In his court filing, Kobe claimed his mother agreed during that conversation that the items still belonged to him. Pamela flatly denied it. Her response was direct. This conversation never occurred, and I never made that statement. She insisted the memorabilia were gifts that Kobe had repeatedly given to her over the years. According to her account, he would say things like, "Here, Mom, these are for you." She claimed he never asked for the items back and never accused her of taking them improperly. Joe Bryant supported her version of events with his own declaration. He described a moment in 2005 when the Lakers were playing in Philadelphia. During that visit, Joe said he and Pamela showed Kobe and Vanessa the entire memorabilia collection upstairs in their home. According to Joe, the couple showed little interest in the items and even declined suggestions to display them in their California house. Joe also pointed to moving records from 1996, which he said showed the memorabilia traveled with the family's belongings to Pennsylvania as personal gifts, not items being stored temporarily. The two sides now had completely different versions of the same story, and the Bryant family conflict had officially turned into a courtroom battle that everyone could see. Pamela's mother, Mildred Cox, even stepped in to support the parents' side of the story. She filed a declaration backing up Joe and Pamela's claims completely. According to their version of events, the situation was simple. They said Kobe had given them the memorabilia as gifts over the years. He never asked for any of it back. And when Kobe and Vanessa visited their home in 2005, they were shown the collection and didn't seem interested in it at all. From Joe and Pamela's perspective, everything changed years later. When Pamela tried to sell some of those items to buy a home, they claimed Kobe and Vanessa suddenly accused them of selling stolen property. The parents argued that the items had been sitting in their possession for years without any objections, and now the story had flipped completely. But the Bryant family was no longer united. The conflict split relatives into opposing sides, and the disagreement spilled straight into federal court documents for the public to read. Kobe's sister, Sharia Washington, supported her brother in the dispute. She filed her own declaration saying she had previously heard Pamela talk about selling Kobe-related items for profit. Sharia also claimed she had personally returned certain memorabilia to Kobe because she was worried those pieces might be sold too. Her statement added another layer to the already messy situation. At the center of the entire legal battle was a question nobody could answer cleanly. Were the items gifts, or were they simply being stored? Joe and Pamela insisted they were gifts. They pointed to years of possession, the fact that the items had been stored in Pennsylvania for more than a decade, and the tens of thousands of dollars Pamela had paid in storage costs. From their view, those details proved the items belonged to them. Kobe and Vanessa saw it very differently. They argued the memorabilia were personal keepsakes that Kobe had planned to pass down to his daughters someday. To them, these were family heirlooms, pieces of history meant for the next generation. One of the most serious moments in the case came from Pamela's sworn statement. In her filing, she directly accused both Kobe and Vanessa of submitting inaccurate information to the court. Her declaration said their affidavits contained many false statements. That line became the strongest public accusation Joe and Pamela ever made against Vanessa on record. The legal war didn't drag on forever, though. By June 10, 2013, the two sides reached a settlement. Only 6 items from the collection were ultimately allowed to go to auction, including 2 of Kobe's high school uniforms and a pair of championship rings. Nearly 90% of the memorabilia was pulled back from the sale. Joe and Pamela even released a joint public apology. Their statement read, "We regret our actions and statements related to the Kobe Bryant auction memorabilia." The message was meant to calm the situation, but the emotional damage had already been done. Kobe later spoke about the conflict in interviews, and the pain in his voice was hard to miss. At one point, he explained the frustration he felt when financial support still didn't resolve the tension. He described moments where he would say something like, "I'm going to buy you a very nice home," only to feel like it still wasn't enough. The man who once admired his father so deeply now struggled to even talk about him publicly. In one interview, when Kobe was asked directly about Joe Bryant, his answer was short and quiet. The distance between them was obvious.
Unfortunately, we don't talk much. You know, maybe down the road that relationship would be better, but right now it's not much of one.
That was the real cost of the memorabilia war. A family relationship shattered over jerseys, rings, and a dispute about who was telling the truth. And yet, the lawsuit happened in 2013, almost 10 years after another crisis that nearly destroyed Kobe's career and his marriage completely, the Colorado case. Through that storm, Vanessa remained standing beside him. Everything we've talked about so far, the family estrangement, the memorabilia lawsuit, the Karl Malone controversy, and the tense Lakers locker room, all unfolded while an even bigger storm was hanging over Kobe Bryant's life. The single most damaging event of his career began on June 30th, 2003. That summer, Kobe traveled to the lodge and spa at Cordillera in Eagle, Colorado. He was there preparing for knee surgery. During that stay, a 19-year-old hotel employee accused him of sexual assault. According to her account, what started as consensual flirting turned into something far more serious inside Kobe's hotel room. She alleged that Kobe blocked her from leaving, touched her inappropriately, bent her over a chair, and assaulted her despite her protests. Medical reports later described injuries including vaginal tearing and bruising on her neck. The accusations shocked the sports world and quickly became one of the biggest scandals the NBA had ever seen. When detectives first questioned Kobe, he initially denied that any sexual contact had taken place. But after investigators told him about DNA evidence, semen, and the woman's blood found on his shirt, Kobe changed his account. He admitted that sexual intercourse had happened, but insisted it was consensual. On July 18, 2003, prosecutors formally charged Kobe with felony sexual assault. The charge carried the possibility of a life sentence if he were convicted. Suddenly, the future of one of the NBA's biggest stars was completely uncertain. Soon after the charge became public, Kobe appeared at a press conference with Vanessa sitting beside him. Cameras from around the world were focused on that moment.
I'm innocent. I didn't force her to do anything against her will.
During the statement, Kobe addressed the situation directly and spoke emotionally about the pain it had caused his family.
No. I sit here in front of you guys furious at myself.
He said he felt deep shame for betraying his marriage through adultery.
So I sit at myself for making a mistake of adultery.
Then he turned toward Vanessa while speaking in front of the media.
I love my wife with all my heart. She's backbone.
Vanessa remained silent. She didn't speak and she didn't walk away. She stayed seated next to him while the entire world watched. Observers also noticed something else that quickly became a headline. Vanessa was wearing an enormous diamond ring reportedly worth around $4 million. Kobe had commissioned the ring earlier, and reports later confirmed it had been ordered before the scandal broke. But public perception immediately turned it into something else. Critics called the ring hush money, suggesting it was meant to buy Vanessa's silence and loyalty. Supporters pushed back strongly against that idea. They argued she was standing by her husband because she believed him and wanted to keep her family together during a crisis. Meanwhile, the legal battle in Colorado became intense. Kobe's defense team aggressively challenged the credibility of the accuser. During court proceedings, details about her mental health history and aspects of her personal life were revealed publicly. Even though Colorado had rape shield laws designed to protect victims, the woman's identity was leaked multiple times online, creating enormous pressure around the case. Eventually, the criminal case collapsed. On September 1st, 2004, prosecutors dropped the charges after the accuser decided she would not testify in court. She cited the emotional toll of the process and the threats she had received. A separate civil lawsuit continued afterward. That case ended in a confidential settlement in 2005. As part of that resolution, Kobe released a written statement that people have debated for years. In it, he said that while he believed the encounter had been consensual, he acknowledged that the woman did not see it the same way. Years later, Kobe spoke about that period during interviews and described how deeply the investigation changed him.
Well, I think it's it challenges who you are as a person. To have to go through something like that.
He said the experience forced him to examine who he was, not just as a basketball player, but as a man, a husband, and a father.
With not only individually, but as a family, and then for the organization, the Lakers organization, my teammates. It was extremely difficult.
During that darkest period, he explained that basketball became the one thing keeping him mentally steady. The game gave him structure and focus, while everything else around him felt like it was collapsing.
Because I've been playing since I was 2. So basketball has always been my escape. It's always been the place of refuge for me.
And through every moment of that crisis, Vanessa stayed. Her decision to remain beside him became one of the most polarizing parts of the entire story. Some people praised her loyalty, describing her as a wife who stood by her husband during the worst moment of his life. Others viewed the situation much more critically. They accused her of protecting his reputation and benefiting from the wealth and status surrounding him. Years later, the rise of the Me Too movement brought renewed attention to the Colorado case. After Kobe's death in 2020, the conversation resurfaced again. complicating public memorials and tributes. The same woman who had quietly stood beside him during that press conference was now the person responsible for managing his entire legacy. Vanessa never publicly changed her position about the case. She acknowledged that Kobe had committed adultery, but she consistently defended his innocence regarding the assault accusation. Whatever truly happened inside that Colorado hotel room became a permanent part of Kobe's story. But Vanessa's decision to stay shaped everything that followed. The family conflicts, the financial disputes, the lawsuits, and the public debates that never completely disappeared. Then tragedy struck years later. On January 26, 2020, Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter Gianna were killed in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. 7 other people also died in the accident. The loss stunned fans around the world and instantly changed the future of the Bryant family. After Kobe's death, Vanessa inherited an estate estimated to be worth as much as $600 million. That made her one of the wealthiest women connected to the sports world. But the responsibility also meant that every unresolved question about Kobe's life, every rumor, dispute, and family conflict now pointed directly at her. The legal battles began quickly. Later in 2020, Vanessa's own mother, Sophia Lane, filed a lawsuit seeking $5 million. She claimed she had worked for years as an unpaid nanny and personal assistant and said Kobe had promised she would be financially supported for the rest of her life. Vanessa responded forcefully. She called the lawsuit disgraceful and stated that her mother had only helped with child care occasionally. Vanessa also said Sophia had already received more than $1 million in financial assistance over the years. In her response, Vanessa accused her mother of trying to exploit a tragedy for money. Public reaction leaned strongly toward Vanessa's side. Many people felt the timing, coming only months after Kobe and Gianna's deaths, seemed harsh. The case was eventually settled confidentially in 2021, but that lawsuit highlighted something observers had noticed for years. Financial disputes often seemed to follow the Bryant family. There had already been the memorabilia battle with Kobe's parents. Then came the lawsuit involving Sophia Lane. Vanessa also pursued legal action related to the helicopter crash itself. She filed a wrongful death claim against the helicopter company and others connected to the flight. That case was later resolved through a confidential settlement. Another major lawsuit followed soon after. In 2020, Vanessa sued Los Angeles County after learning that sheriff's deputies and firefighters had taken and shared graphic photos of the crash site, including images of Kobe and Gianna's remains. The revelation shocked the public. During the 2022 trial, testimony revealed attempts to cover up the sharing of those photos. There were claims that phones had been ordered wiped and that proper evidence procedures had not been followed. After hearing the case, a jury awarded Vanessa $16 million in damages. The legal battle eventually concluded with a broader settlement in 2023, worth about $28.85 million. Vanessa announced that the proceeds would support the Mamba and Mamba Cheetah Sports Foundation, the organization created to honor Kobe and Gianna's legacy. By that point, Vanessa Bryant had moved from being known as Kobe's wife to something much bigger, the person carrying the responsibility for his memory, his fortune, and the complicated story that surrounded both of their lives. The legal battles didn't stop there. One of the later cases exposed serious problems inside the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. During court proceedings connected to the crash photo lawsuit, testimony revealed troubling details about internal behavior within the department, including allegations of deputy gangs and claims that evidence had been mishandled or destroyed. The situation raised serious questions about accountability and how sensitive evidence was being handled. Then another legal fight appeared in 2023. This time it involved Molly Carter, a former president of Kobe Inc. Carter filed a lawsuit claiming she had been promised a 2% ownership stake in Body Armor, the sports drink company Kobe had invested in early. After Coca-Cola acquired Body Armor, that alleged stake would have been worth around $400 million. Vanessa strongly denied that any such promise had ever been made. As the case unfolded, the situation took an unexpected turn. Offensive text messages from Carter surfaced during the proceedings. According to reports, Carter had called Kobe insane, made harsh comments about the Bryant children's appearances, and even sent messages containing derogatory remarks about Black people and Asians. Those revelations shifted the tone of the case dramatically. In the end, Vanessa won the legal battle. The court ordered Carter to pay roughly $1.5 million in legal fees, closing another chapter in the long list of disputes surrounding the Bryant legacy. Meanwhile, the relationship with Kobe's parents remained one of the most painful and unresolved parts of the story. There were small signs of healing before Kobe's death. Some witnesses said they saw moments of reconciliation between Kobe and his father, Joe Bryant, at a basketball camp in Santa Barbara. Coach Wayne Slappy even described seeing the two share a hug. After the tragic helicopter crash in 2020, Vanessa reportedly welcomed Joe and Pamela Bryant to the public memorial service. For a moment, it looked like the family might finally come back together. But the reconciliation came late, and it never fully healed the past. Joe Bryant passed away in July 2024 after suffering a stroke. He was 69 years old. In the years leading up to his death, he had remained mostly quiet publicly about the long-running family tensions. When Joe died, Vanessa posted a message on Instagram. The tribute was short, but the wording carried a lot of emotion between the lines. She wrote, "Sending our condolences upon hearing the news of my father-in-law's passing. We hope things would have been different. Although the times we spent together were few, he was always sweet and nice to be around. Kobe loved him very much." That one sentence, "We hope things would have been different," seemed to summarize 2 decades of complicated history. The wedding where his parents didn't attend, the years of silence, the memorabilia lawsuit, the court filings accusing each other of lying, a family that struggled for years to repair the damage but never fully found its way back. Even after that, public debates about Vanessa never really stopped. Cultural commentator Dr. Umar Johnson posted a video criticizing her following Joe Bryant's death. In the video, he accused Vanessa of supporting causes and institutions outside the Black community, despite managing wealth created by a Black athlete. The comments sparked another round of online arguments about her role in Kobe's legacy. Then came another wave of rumors. In 2025 and again in 2026, social media posts began claiming Vanessa was expecting a child with a new partner. The speculation spread quickly online. Vanessa eventually responded on Instagram and shut the rumors down directly, clearly frustrated after more than 20 years of constant public speculation about her personal life. Even podcasts and media personalities jumped into the debate. On the Joe Budden podcast, hosts discussed the rumor and raised a question that revealed a bigger cultural tension. They debated whether a widow should be expected to remain alone forever or whether she should be allowed to move forward with her life.
She said, "I'm enjoying my summer, not pregnant." Basically like I'm ignoring the rest of the room.
One of the hosts said what many people were thinking.
In life, she's supposed to move on. She can live her life and stuff like that. I mean, it's been 5 years.
And then immediately walked it back because of the unspoken expectations surrounding Kobe's legacy.
Whatever mental world that I'm in, I'm not, that's Kobe. But
what's the
I don't want to see you move on.
And that's where Vanessa Bryant stands today. In 2026, she now leads the Mamba and Mamba Cheetah Sports Foundation, which focuses on opportunities for underserved athletes and expanding support for girls in sports. She also serves as CEO of Granity Studios, the company Kobe founded to produce storytelling projects and educational content. In February 2026, she unveiled the Kobe and Vanessa Bryant Family Court at Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach, another project tied to the family's philanthropic work. At the same time, she's raising 4 daughters. Natalia is attending USC, while Bianca and Capri are still in school. Vanessa's estimated net worth today is believed to fall somewhere between $600 million and $800 million. Over the years, she has faced an extraordinary number of challenges. A housekeeper's lawsuit in 2009 accusing her of verbal mistreatment, her mother's $5 million lawsuit, the memorabilia battle with Kobe's parents, the Colorado scandal that nearly destroyed Kobe's career, the devastating helicopter crash, and multiple legal fights afterward. Through all of it, one question keeps coming up again and again. Who exactly is Vanessa Bryant? And what role did she truly play in the conflicts surrounding Kobe's life? Kobe's parents once believed she cost them their relationship with their son. The Karl Malone controversy suggested some tension inside the NBA locker room. A former housekeeper described her as difficult. Her own mother accused her of being ungrateful. But Kobe himself, the one person at the center of it all, said something very different. He called Vanessa his backbone. The truth probably lives somewhere in the middle of all those perspectives, but the fact that so many people across so many years kept pointing in her direction says a lot about how complicated this story really is. Whether Vanessa Bryant was unfairly blamed or deeply involved in the conflicts around Kobe, one thing is clear: her story can't be separated from his. Their lives, their successes, and their controversies are permanently connected. And even now, the debates about what it all meant are still happening. If you found this story interesting, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might want to hear the full story too. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about everything that happened. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.